You ever have one of those moments where the world feels like it's moving on without you, and you're just stuck, frozen? That was me for an entire year. My name's Mark Hansen. I've built companies from scratch, signed deals worth more than most people see in 10 lifetimes. But none of it mattered when my little girl Emma stopped speaking. She was only 8 when the accident happened. A drunk driver ran a red light, and in one instant I lost my wife. And Emma lost her voice. Not just words, she lost laughter, eye contact, even the smallest spark in her eyes. She'd just sit there, holding her tattered old bunny, staring out the window like she was watching the rest of the world live without her. I threw money at the problem like money could fix it. Speech therapists in Boston, meditation retreats in California, even some miracle acupuncture in New York. 6 figures gone and not a single word from my daughter. One therapist finally said, "Maybe she doesn't need a new technique, Mr. Hansen. Maybe she needs a reason." A reason. There's no store you can walk into for that. One Monday morning, my business partner Aaron called. Pinecrest Café, noon. "We need to talk Tokyo deal." I didn't want to go. Lately, I'd been dodging meetings, but Emma heard me get my shoes. And for the first time in months, she stood up, walked over, and held out her hand to me. No words, just that tiny hand. That was enough. The cafe sat on a quiet street in the old part of town. Exposed brick, the smell of fresh bread, the kind of place where you expect to see neighbors catching up. I walked in holding Emma's hand like if I let go, I'd lose her again. We sat by the window with Aaron talking numbers, but my eyes kept drifting to Emma. Same blank stare. Until a woman stepped out from behind the counter. She was wearing a cream apron, her dark curls pulled back skin like rich mahogany. She carried a tray of pastries, smiling at customers, but when her eyes landed on Emma, she stopped. Not pity, not curiosity, something deeper. She set the tray down, crouched to Emma's eye level, and started moving her hands. Slow, graceful like a dance I didn't understand. Emma blinked, actually looked at her, and then I swear to you smiled. A small one, but it was real. The woman glanced up at me. "Hi, I'm Tessa. Born deaf. I know some kids shut down after trauma. Thought I'd try." I felt my throat close. You just got more out of her in 30 seconds than anyone's managed in a year. She shrugged like it was nothing. "I can teach her. 1 hour after school. No pressure." From then on, we came back every afternoon. Emma learned how to sign "Hello, thank you, bunny," even cupcake. And I learned something too, that sign language isn't just about hands. It's about looking someone in the eye, waiting for their answer, letting silence be part of the conversation. One rainy day, Emma signed "Mom" in the sky. Tessa didn't rush to cheer her up. She just put her hand on her chest, signed "Believe," and nodded. I had to turn away before Emma saw me cry. But just when I thought we'd found some light, my mother blew in like a cold front. She showed up at the cafe, trench coat, clipped tone. "What exactly are you doing, Mark? Letting a deaf baker teach your daughter this hand language?" She said it like it was a disease. "She's reconnecting Mom." She smiled again. We are weeks from finalizing Tokyo. Investors expect stability, not..." She glanced toward the counter. "A complicated relationship with someone of limited communication and unclear history." That last part cut. I'd been hearing whispers to something about Tessa's past in Argentina, but I didn't care. My mother did, and she wasn't the only one. A week later, a photo of me carrying Emma out of the cafe hit the tabloid's headline, "Tech CEO Cozy with Deaf Baker Shady Past." They didn't talk about what she'd done for my daughter, just what sold clicks. The cafe changed, more stares. A customer asked in that fake sweet tone, But isn't it dangerous if she can't hear the oven? Tessa just smiled, wrote on a board. I feel the vibrations. The kitchen is safe. The customer mumbled and left. I wanted to throw her coffee at her back. One night I found a folded letter on our cafe table. Tessa. If I leave, maybe the storm will pass. I don't want Emma hurt. Before I could speak, Emma came running in, hands flailing through signs, messy, urgent. Don't go. You hear. I not sad. Then she opened her mouth and said clear as a bell, don't let her go. I swear the whole cafe went silent. I knelt down. No one's going anywhere. And I meant it. The next morning, I called Aaron. Freeze Tokyo. Are you insane? 8 months of negotiations. I'm not losing the person who gave my daughter her voice so I can close a deal. Instead, I told the board we were launching a new product, real-time captions, ASL overlays, haptic prompts for deaf kids. Half of them looked at me like I'd grown a second head. My mother surprised me. She backed me, said she'd invest more if we kept the plan. That swing vote saved my job. We turned Sweet Haven, that's what Tessa named the place, into more than a bakery. We hired 2 deaf employees, posted a sign of the day on the board, use it, get a discount. We held silent hours where everyone ordered in sign. At first, a few people came for the novelty, but then they came to belong. When the legal confirmation arrived from Argentina, clearing Tessa completely, I thought maybe the worst was over. I was wrong. Someone spray-painted "Go Home" on the bakery window. Within minutes, our neighbors were there with rags and cleaner. No speeches, just hands working side by side. Emma chalked on the board. This is home. 2 months later, in the back garden, strung with yellow lights, I asked Tessa to marry me and sign. She touched Emma's cheek, looked back at me and signed, yes. We kept the wedding's small wooden chairs, lavender in her hair, Emma in a chef's hat guarding the cake she made. Every vow was spoken and signed so no one was left out. Even my mother signed, proud of you to Tessa, and meant it. 2 years later, Emma turned 10. She stood on a little stage in the backyard, greeting her friends in both English and ASL without missing a beat. Tessa's belly was 6 months round, and every time Emma laughed, the baby kicked like it wanted in on the joke. The bakery now had 2 locations, a scholarship fund for kids to learn sign, and a blackboard that read, "Some languages need no words." That night, I told Tessa, when we first met, I was scared to touch anything, afraid I'd break the moment. Now I'm just afraid I don't have enough hands to hold everything we have. She smiled, signed, "Only need the right hands." Emma jumped in with her favorite, "I love you." We all did it together, laughing. You know, people still ask me if I regret walking away from Tokyo. But I look at my daughter, the way she moves between worlds without thinking, and I think, what's the point of building anything if the people you love can't share it with you? So tell me, if you were in my shoes, would you risk your career to protect the person who helped your child find their voice again? Or would you play it safe, keep the deal, and hope your kid somehow heals without them? I want to hear your take, not the polite answer, but the real one. Because I've learned, the truth only works if you speak it, whether with your mouth or with your hands.